Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right. Well, today's the 15th, and what do we hear? There's going to be some great news. The exchange rate was going to change. Didn't we hear that? How many times have we heard that? I can't tell you how many people put in my comments, oh yeah, wait till the 15th, Pimpy, you'll see. It's the 15th. What am I supposed to see? I tell you what I do see, though. I see Iran bombing places within Iraq. Kurdistan region, to be more precise. Now remember, Kurdistan is the one that wants the United States troops to stay in Iraq. And Iran is not too thrilled about that. And now to make things worse, you have Joe Biden talking about sending another 2,500 troops on over. We don't need this. Iraq don't need this. As much as you're trying to stay out of all this, it's kind of hard not to feel that this current government is going to be in a pickle. Sure, they said they wanted the U.S. and the National Coalition out of Iraq. But Kurdistan said they wanted them to stay. Sure, most of the government is made up of Iranian-backed puppets. What makes it bad for those Iranian-backed puppets is the fact that Iran is bombing places within Iraq. Do you think the Iraqi people are going to tolerate this? It's starting to become destabilized, which is what you don't want. Kurdistan Security Council on Iran's bombing of Erbil, a flagrant violation of the sovereignty of the region and Iraq. Now, Kurdistan has a right to put pressure on the government to do something about this. This is an act of war. They bombed a place within the country. But what do you do when you're an Iranian-backed puppet? Yeah, do you see the predicament? The Security Council of Kurdistan region at dawn today, Tuesday, the missile bombardment launched by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, which targeted city areas in the city of Erbil, a flagrant violation of the sovereignty of the region and all Iraq. The council said in a statement today at 11:30, on the night of January 16th, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard bombed several civilian areas in Erbil, which unfortunately and according to the preliminary toll resulted in the death of 4 civilians and the injury of 6 others, some of them of unstable health. So when I keep telling you time and time again, every time Iraq takes a step forward to do something good, they end up taking 3 steps back. And a big chunk of it is not their fault. I mean, seriously, this is the kind of crap they have to go through all the time. I did a video talking about all the different political sectors, all the different religious sectors, all the different tribes. You know how hard it is to keep all these people happy? It's not very easy at all. Some of these people hate other people so much that they want them killed, removed off the map. So you got bombing happening in Kurdistan from Iran. So you can imagine what kind of pressure that leaves on certain people. Like, let's say, the people that are attending the Baghdad International Fair in its 47th session, promising investment opportunities. Yeah, but if I'm a business and I'm there looking to invest in Iraq, and all of a sudden the morning that I'm there to go to a international fair, I'm finding out that bombings are taking place within that country. It's supposed to be stable, but it doesn't appear to be when you have bombing taking place from your neighbor. The Iraqi General Company for Exhibitions and Commercial Services confirmed today, Monday, that the Baghdad International Fair in its 47th session provided promising investment opportunities in the field of trade, investment, housing, and industrial sectors. The Director General said the 47th session of the Baghdad International Fair was distinguished from previous sessions by many things, such as a bombing, I'm guessing. Especially the size of the participation, as 20 countries and more than 850 international and local companies participated. Yeah, there was a reason for it. People really felt like Iraq was getting back on track. But then, like I said, all of a sudden you wake up in the morning to Iran bombing Iraq, which is an act of war. Do you understand why a lot of outside investors don't want to take the chance and risk investing in Iraq? It's not stable. This is what I'm talking about. This important economic forum will open a wide window for Iraq to the world. And it sure is. This is all over the news around the world. In addition to that, it will contribute to the translation of the government's program for economic reform, as this exhibition comes as one of its tools, and it is a distinguished event and witnessed by visitors and guests, and the activities are still continuing amid a remarkable presence of companies. So that's one of the things I spoke about. And here you can see for yourself, it still continues. And that is having to deal with Iran. Iran is a big pain in the ass for Iraq. And it doesn't help Iraq that their politicians are Iranian puppets. It doesn't help at all. Iraq plans to stop international borrowing during the current year. That would be nice. So there was a statement made to the news after 2003, Iraq entered a new wave of external loans and debts due to the decline in oil prices and the insufficient budget in most cases. Well, what do you mean, the incline of oil prices? But they have so much oil, why does it make a difference? Isn't that what I hear all the time? There was clear confusion and differences in estimating the size of Iraq's new external debts due to the presence of other debts before 2003, noting that the new debts must have a clear picture of them in order for appropriate measures to be taken in dealing with them in order to preserve the country's economy and its credit rating globally. What this is saying is they don't have an idea of what their overall debt is. How is that possible? The loans are distributed amongst ministries and governments in exchange for projects. And the task of the committee that was formed is to inventory the loans and find out which projects, ministries, and governments have benefited from them and what their condition is, indicating that the debt entitles interest that burns Iraq and must be liquidated, and final results must be reached in knowing the size of the debt, how to repay it, and its value to the economy. These debts may have been taken for certain reasons, but they do not contain any added value to the Iraqi economy, which makes us study the debts again and proceed with implementing the projects for which the debt was borrowed. If they are useless, they must be stopped and return the debts to improve Iraq's financial position internationally. It is noteworthy that the foreign loans to Iraq are estimated to be at $25 billion. So the formation of this committee comes after these loans burdened the country during the past 20 years. If it's $25 billion, I don't understand why Iraq just doesn't pay it off. They literally have the money to do this. Pay it off. So much for passing a 3-year budget. The arrival of the budget law for 2024 is near. And what do we hear was going to be in that budget law? A new exchange rate. Isn't that what you're told? Just like you were told today, the 15th, that it was going to happen. If I'm being honest, I am expecting a small increase in the exchange rate in this budget. I told you in the first quarter of this year, I was expecting it. But the last thing you need is all these headaches with bombings in Iraq and all the crap that's going on all the way around them. Today, the Parliamentary Finance Committee resumed its regular meetings with the beginning of the new legislation term to discuss a number of topics related to its legislative and oversight work, indicating the meeting discussed ways to conduct a rapid review of the committee's work during the past legislative terms and determine the priorities for the next phase in accordance with the ministerial platform, whether in terms of completing the requirements for legislating important laws and monitoring spending and removing obstacles and impediments that delay implementing service and development plans and programs. Well, whatever's in the way of them doing programs and starting projects, they need to get all that out of the way so these projects can get started. So the committee is waiting for the arrival of the budget for 2024 to make the necessary amendments to its schedules, stressing the necessity of determining our priorities in accordance with the government program. The priorities is to create more non-oil revenues. We will have a field visit in the coming days to ministries and governments to follow up on the implementation of plans and programs, addressing the members of the committee by saying your presence in the field is sufficient to solve all the legal and technical problems that delay the referrals of strategic projects and hinder the completion of those that are lagging behind, which is what I talked about. Remember, I told you this is what Iraq's notorious for. People take out money for projects. They either get them started and take the money and then drop the project and it never gets completed. So there's a lot of those projects out there. It says we have allocated funds to the governance in order to implement strategic projects, and this requires us to follow up on financing and implementation, pointing out the necessity of working to overcome obstacles and completing school buildings, projects that have been lagging for years. Anyways, as you see, another promised day, the 15th, of something spectacular happening, and nothing's happened. Aren't you guys tired of that yet? In addition to that, the last thing we need is Iran to be bombing inside Iraq. This is going to put a lot of pressure on the government. I'm curious to see how this is going to pan out. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I am out.